Is he set? I can't tell. Oh, there he goes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would announce that the regularly scheduled meeting of the Raynham Zoning Board of Appeals is hereby called to order. The proceedings are being transcribed and recorded to provide full and accurate minutes and allow full participation of the clerk. The participating board members to my right, Charles Carey, Assistant Member Francis McGurk, the Vice Chairman, and my name's Carl Varana. I'm the Chairman of the Board. The first matter that we will address is number, 969?
Correct.
If the clerk would read the petition and the other relevant matters, please.
Yes. Public meeting notice. The Raynham Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 17th, 2018, 7 p.m. at Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall, 558 South Main Street, to consider petition number 969, Paul Carrera, Raynham, Mass. Request for a variance from Raynham zoning bylaws, section 5.1, minimum requirements to allow a building to be 5 feet closer than allowed to both the side and rear property lines of an existing non-conforming structure. Relief is sought to allow setbacks of 15 feet where 20 feet is required. Locus, 21 Gilmore Street, Assessors Map 4, Lot 232, Raynham, Mass. Anyone wishing to be heard on this matter should attend the hearing. A copy of the plan and application may be viewed in full at the Raynham Town Clerk's office during scheduled business hours.
Thank you, sir. Are there butters list attached?
Yes. And it's signed by Jennifer Banks Oldfield.
Thank you. Would all those who intend to give any testimony or speak at all with respect to this petition please stand? Anybody else? Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Would the petitioner please come forward and present the reasons for granting the petition?
My name's Chris Gallagher. I'm an engineer at 35 Gallagher Place in Raynham. I prepared the plans for Paul Correa, 21 Gilmore Street. And as the petition said, we're requesting relief from Section 5 zoning bylaws regarding setback requirements, and the side and rear lot line requires 20 feet, and we're proposing 15. We located the house and everything on the property and tried a lot of different ways to see how we could add on to, Paul wanted to get some more garage space. We tried first looking at, as you're looking at the house on the right side, which we could do it and meet setback, but we had access issues where we'd have to squeeze between the house and the existing garage where we couldn't really get a driveway to fit unless we maybe tore the porch off the house. Or we could come around and put a whole entirely new driveway coming through the other side, which wasn't that practical. This is an old home on a very old lot that pre-existed zoning. At the time, they didn't know that the zoning setbacks would change. Paul's running a good business out of there. He's very neat, very clean, hasn't had any complaints from neighbors. In fact, several, told us they would attend tonight if, they thought it was necessary. So we've communicated with each neighbor and asked, and told them what we were doing, and none had issue. But again, we've tried to look at different avenues to comply to zoning. The 20-foot doesn't give us enough garage to get a decent door in and get the sides, so we are requesting relief for an extra 5 feet. And we think that, kind of the hardship is that we'd have to reconfigure the driveway, add a new driveway. Aesthetically, it wouldn't come out that well, and we don't think we're asking for a lot of relief on such a small, undersized lot.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here who wishes to be heard in favor of this petition? You wish to say anything, sir? Do you wish to say anything? No, you're all set. Okay. Charlie, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but there's a letter from Robert Iafredi.
Okay, let's read that into the record. Is he in favor, or?
He is in favor. This is from Robert Iafredi, Building Commissioner, dated Wednesday, October 17th, 12:05 p.m. Maureen, I had visited the property owned by Mr. Paul Carrere at 21 Gilmore to discuss possible expansion of his existing non-conforming structure. He has a split zone property where he uses the back building as an auto body shop. The only spot it makes sense to add to this structure is on the proposed plan. The area behind the dwelling would not be suitable for vehicular access to an overhead door. I have no issues with this current proposal. Thanks, Bob Iafredi.
Thank you. Fran, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't have any questions. I've been to the property and I kind of looked at it, and I agree that it does seem like a very practical use. They did leave enough room to get around the building if access was needed. I don't have any trouble with it.
Is there anyone else here who wishes to be heard in opposition to the petition? Does the clerk have any other communications favoring or in opposition to the petition?
No, nothing here in the folder.
Would you care to summarize, sir, or are you satisfied with?
Satisfied.
Are there any other pertinent comments from anyone present? I would then declare the public hearing closed. The board will go into executive session. All may remain while the board deliberates, but none may speak. Fran, what's your?
I don't have any problem with it. I think it's a good use of the property. I think it works well. I think all the people are in favor.
With the split zoning and where it is and so on, I think it's pretty much in keeping too, Charlie.
I concur.
Okay. Can we have a motion to?
Motion to approve?
Second. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I would again open the meeting and announce that the decision of the board is to allow the petition of the petitioner. All those who object to the decision may file an appeal to the Superior Court, and that appeal shall be filed with the town clerk within 20 days of the filing of the board's decision with the town clerk. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
What's the next matter?
The next one is going to be 968.
968.
Castagnetti.
Okay. I would again declare the meeting of the Raynham Zoning Board of Appeals open. The participating board members, to my right, Charles Carey, to my left, Francis McGuirk. My name's Carl Verana. Would the clerk please read the petition and other relevant matters?
Yes, public meeting notice. The Raynham Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 17th, 2018, 7 p.m. at Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall, 558 South Main Street, to consider petition number 968. Lee Castagnetti as attorney for Log Build Homes, Inc., New Bedford, Mass. Request for a special permit pursuant to Raynham zoning bylaws, section 7.4, specific uses allowed by special permit, to allow an in-law apartment to be included within and as part of the single-family residence to be constructed at 73 Sparrow Way, Lot 28. The apartment will contain a total of 601 square feet of living area, and the primary dwelling will contain 2,240 square feet of separate living area. Locust, 73 Sparrow Way, Assessors Map 9, Lot 207-28B, Raynham, Mass. Anyone wishing to be heard on this matter should attend the hearing. A copy of the plan and application may be viewed in full at the Raynham Town Clerk's office during scheduled business hours.
Thank you. List of abutters.
List of abutters is signed by Jennifer Banks Oldfield.
Thank you. I would ask anyone who wishes to speak with respect to this matter to stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give to this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Would you please present the reasons for granting this petition?
Good evening. My name is Lee Castagnetti. I represent the petitioner and applicant, Long Built Homes. As was the case with this is the third home of this nature in this community, and as has been the case with all the others that we've presented to you, they've gone through your checklist in Section 10, and of course the size of the unit as shown on the plans that were submitted is under the 750 feet required. It has direct access into the main dwelling through the main home as required. Does not have separate utilities. There's one single set of utilities that service the entire home, including the in-law unit. It is affixed to the main dwelling directly. Again, as shown on the plan, there is off-street parking in the driveway, a two-car garage with a driveway that can accommodate an additional 2 cars. And there is only one driveway that services, as shown on the site plan. So the petition meets all of the requirements, the specific requirements set forth in your bylaws, and we have additionally, and I believe the homeowners, the future homeowners are here tonight, and they will confirm that all of the other conditions in your bylaw that pertain to their future requirements have been explained to them. They understand them, and they're
Thank you, sir. Are there any others here who are favor of the petition who wish to be heard? Anyone else who wishes to speak in favor, come on up, give us your name.
I'm Lori Pepicelli. I will be the owner, so I don't have anything to add, but I assume you have anything. So, in case you're curious, my parents are in New York. They're going to be joining us once they retire, and we'll be sharing a home with them. So, I was just said it helps if I come, so. Sorry.
Very good, thank you. Do the board members have any questions of the petitioner?
I do want to provide you with a substitute page for those plans based on the last submission that we had. Mr. Iafredi had asked that we do an additional door into the unit.
Second door, yeah.
That is second means of ingress that was not through the main house, and we had met with him on that house to accomplish that in this manner. One, and if you want one for Bob as well. Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That it would be accomplished this way on lot 28 was the most recent one that was granted. And this is, it's a flipped house, but the arrangement for the doors is the exact same. So we will do this way as opposed to the way it was shown on the plan that was originally submitted.
All right. Any questions, Charlie, or comments?
I do not.
Fran? No. I do not have any likewise. Are there any others present who wish to object to this petition? Are there any communications either favoring or in opposition to this petition?
Not that I know of, Mari.
Are there any other pertinent comments by anyone else present? I would then declare the public hearing closed. The board will go into executive session. All may remain while the board deliberates, but none may speak.
It appears to be like a well-thought-out plan, in compliance with the building inspector, in compliance with the zoning, recommendations. I'd be in favor.
Charlie?
I second that. I'd be in favor.
I have no questions either. Motion to...
Motion to approve.
Second. Yes, yes, yes. I would again declare the meeting open. The decision of the board is to grant the petition. Anyone having any objections to the decision may file an appeal to the Superior Court, and that appeal shall be filed with the town clerk within 20 days of the filing of the board's decision with the town clerk. Thank you, good luck.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you.
And moving right along. I would again announce the meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals open. Participating board members, to my right, Charles Carey; to my left, Francis McGuirk. My name's Carl Verana. Would the clerk please read the petition and other relevant matters?
Yes, public meeting notice. The Raynham Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 17th, 2018, 7 p.m. at Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall, 558 South Main Street, to consider petition number 970. Paula Gasparoni, Raynham, Mass. Requested for a variance from Raynham zoning bylaw, section 5.1, minimum requirements to allow construction of a 22-foot by 22-foot detached garage with a property side line setback distance of 6.5 feet instead of the required 20-foot setback. Locus, 15 First Street, Assessors Map 7, Lot 184-0, Raynham, Mass. Anyone wishing to be heard on this matter should attend the hearing. A copy of the plan and application may be viewed in full at the Raynham Town Clerk's office during scheduled business hours.
Thank you. The butters list?
Butters list is here and signed by Michael Lally.
Thank you. Would all those who intend to speak with respect to this matter, please stand and raise your right hands. Everybody might as well stand up. Saves us the trouble later on, just in case. Pardon me? There you go. That's the attitude. Would you all raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Thank you. You may be seated. The petitioner may introduce the matter and give the reasons for granting this petition.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, my name is Azue Tuniru. I am a registered professional land surveyor and a registered professional civil engineer in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts with an business address of 481 Bedford Street, next door in Bridgewater. I have Ms. Gasparoni in the back. She is the petitioner. I have a supplemental information that I would like to present to the board. And that's basically, we came up with this just to...
Is this a plan to take the place of what you've submitted earlier?
No,
To clarify it or supplement it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, just give a rendering of what it might look like.
That doesn't help me much. All right, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what we have here is a petition for a side setback variance for the construction of a 22 by 22 accessory structure, a garage for housing the petitioner's car, as well as a snow blower that she wants to put inside. There is underneath the blue, I have actually highlighted the proposed garage in blue, but underneath that is an existing, and it's an existing shed that serves Ms. Gasparoni. This property has been in existence for a very, very long time. The houses in the neighborhood are pretty much similar in nature. The reason for the petition is that the existing driveway is located, and that's basically the driveway that she pulls into from the street. And then she backs out to the street. There's not enough area to turn around, so she pulls in and pulls out. And therefore, the garage would allow her to pull the car inside while they plow and clean up the driveway. If you look at the topography on the south side, if you will, by the land of Noblin, on the south side of the property, we have essentially an 11-foot elevation difference between the rear and the front. So the topography of the property does not support, you can't really cut into that without extensive retaining structure. So the topography limits the area that you can actually put the garage. If you look on the west side of the existing dwelling, it's only 17.1 feet. And there's already a retaining structure between Ms. Gasparoni property and the abutting land also owned by Noblin. And so that is a very restricted area to, say, for example, put an alternative driveway. If you were to move the property because of its shape, if you were to move the garage westerly in order to conform to the setbacks, you will not be able to turn. If you look at the templates that you use for turning a vehicle, you will need a distance of 35 feet. And then it will be basically sitting on top of the existing patio. And will also require additional, so if I were to move that westerly, not only I'm taking advantage because of the topography, I'm stepping the foundation so that in the back, on the south side, the foundation acts as a retaining structure. If I were to move the garage to the west, not only do I lose the ability to hold the topography, now I have to build another structure in addition to the garage, thereby doing a lot more alteration on the property than necessary. So in terms of Chapter 48, we do find that if you look at the shape of the land, the existing use, the topography, and the soils, we do believe that those items make the hardship on the land, not necessarily a financial hardship on Ms. Gasparoni, but a hardship, in fact, does exist on the land. And the garage, a detached garage, is pretty much an accessory structure, and it's consistent with land uses, both in the neighborhood and throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And we are hoping and praying this board to find that, in fact, that the proposed garage structure does qualify and merit a consideration for the requested variance. And as my wife always admonishes me, be brief and don't speak too much. So I'm done.
And she's always right.
Oh, amen.
Do the board members have any questions of the witness?
Not at this time.
Not at this time, okay. Is there anyone else here who's in favor of this petition who wishes to be heard?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is John Kokoroyanis, 283 Broadway. I'm a neighbor of Paula, and my input to that is actually second of what the engineer said. I've witnessed myself many times her difficulty of going in and out from her own driveway, and especially when the weather is bad, it was very logical for everybody in the neighborhood to assume that a garage will actually help her and actually aid on her safety. That goes as well based on where her house is located, right on top of the hill, will allow safe transportation from all the other people in the neighborhood going back and forth. I would also ask you to approve it because it's for a good cause, a good person, and it helps everybody else in the area as well.
Your neighbor of Paula's?
Yes. For you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard? Are there any communications favoring the petition?
Tom, I think she's trying to get your attention.
Not in favor. We're still,
Still in
we
favor?
haven't come to the bad guys yet. Would the objectors care to be heard?
Did you want to read the letter first, or?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, let's read the letter first.
So I think this was the one in favor.
Mr. Clerk, would you read the communication?
Yes, King Philip Realty Trust, P.O. Box 250, Raynham Center, Mass. October 16th, 2018. Town of Raynham, Board of Appeals, 558 South Main Street, Raynham, Mass. John D. Noblin, I believe, Noblin, trustee of King Philip Realty Trust, the owner of 251 Broadway and 267 Broadway, are in favor of granting the variance to Paula Gasproni to construct a detached garage at 15 First Street in Raynham. Thank you. John Noblin.
Thank you. Any other communications?
There's two more letters, one from Robert Iafredi, Building Commissioner. This is Wednesday, October 17th. Maureen, I have reviewed the proposed garage plan for 15 First Street. The applicant will need to maintain or improve existing drainage patterns in order not to have a negative impact on the abutting property to the east. The plan shows grading that would allow for roof and driveway runoff to stay on property. If that is maintained, then I have no issues with the proposal. Thank you, Robert Iafredi. And there's one that's opposed. So I don't know.
Opposed, we can get to that.
Okay.
Now, would all those who are opposed to this, if you care to be heard, can we bring you up one by one, give your name and address, and
Hi, my name is Allison Cross O'Leary. I am speaking in behalf of my mother and father, Robert and Jean, that are present. They reside on 21 First Street and are a direct abutter to the applicant. We have resided and enjoyed our property for 64 years, since 1954. We are opposed to this variance. The applicant states that the reason that they are seeking a variance from zoning setback requirements is the unique characteristics of the land. I would argue that my property possesses the same characteristics of the applicant's property, therefore, the applicant's property is not unique. More importantly, I would further argue that after reviewing the plan by ET Engineering, it is clear that the garage can fit on the site and meet all of the current setback requirements. Therefore, there is no undue hardship, merely the applicant's preference of location. We respectfully urge you, the board, to deny the variance. Thank you for your consideration.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
James Ferry, for Mr. Cross. 14 Edgewater Drive, East Falmouth. After reviewing the plan by ET, it appears if that garage was to be cocked just a little bit, the applicant could, and pushed over to the adjacent lot line, setback line. It appears that the cars could come in, turn into the garage, and back out of the garage, down the driveway. So, due to the close proximity to our property, 6 feet is rather close. Also, concerns are if the variance was to be granted, excavating for foundations and retaining walls there could be quite difficult, being close to the lot line. And drainage also is an issue.
I'm sorry? Yes.
think my parents.
And your name and address,
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry. My name is Kathy Korski. I live on 416 Lake Street. I think my parents' concern, they don't have a problem with the garage, but where it's going to be placed, they've lived there for 64 years, they sit on their porch, they sit in their family room, and to look out every day at a building. They see trees now. If it was located differently, they'd still have their view. He's 91, she's 89. That's what they live for.
Thank you. Are there any other objectors here who wish to be heard? Would the board members care to ask any questions?
Yeah, I guess to both parties.
Okay.
Is there any compromise? You're talking about caulking it a little bit would give access. It still wouldn't move it out too much. If you caulk it over, it would give easier access to kind of drive in. Would that work within the, scope? And would a line of bushes along the line, so you're not looking at the garage, would that ease the concern? One at a time.
Again, my name is Azwetu, I'm the engineer. The point about caulking it, if you look at the driveway and if you look at the supplemental plan that I showed, it actually shows that the door is basically right in front of the driveway. You have to look at the turning movement that people make. I will suggest to you, based on my 40 years of practice, even though I'm only 25 years old, in reality, you will not be able to negotiate that turn without getting caught over here. Now, if you say, well, put the garage against the house, it will still be a problem turning. There is an existing fence line along the entire property. It's a beautiful vinyl fence that Ms. Gasparini put in there, and she will not be adverse to putting next to that a row of arborvitae, evergreen, so that it will not be deciduous trees. If indeed the concern is the view. And because it's only 14 feet high at the peak, okay, about 5 to 1, a 5 run roof,
pitch.
Yeah, pitch. You will hardly see the garage itself. You'll basically be looking at the edge of the roof line. And so we will be more than amenable to install a row of arborvitae so that it will obstruct the view of the and I've built projects similar to this, and it will work, and where drainage is not an issue. As a matter of fact, that is why I set it up so that the runoff will continue the way it is right now on the driveway. If I move it over here to create the apron for that driveway, now I'm forcing runoff to flow counter to the existing pattern of going out to the street. Now I'm going to force runoff from the front of the garage to go that way. So from a technical standpoint, while it might sound good, you will be creating an undesirable effect in forcing water to go the way it does not go right now.
Thank you. Yes, you wanted to be heard?
How much room is there?
Your name and address, please.
James Perry, 14 Edgewater Drive, East Falmouth. Can you tell me how much room there is to the other setback line?
So from the existing setback line to this property line here, it's a total of 46.5 feet.
So the building could be moved back 24 feet across the back of the lot?
That's correct, but that's correct, but you will need 35 feet of free turn to get in there. Without also, if you try to back out, now you're going to be backing out into the fence. And then also drainage issue. I heard earlier, as well as Mr. afraid is concerned about drainage. If you do that, I will have to drain the front of, I'm adding additional pavement that I wouldn't need to add. And then obviously, I'm not gonna be draining over this way here. But I can't put a dry well, if that is it. But the whole idea of a grading and drainage is to maintain the natural flow pattern as much as possible. And I think Mr. Iafredi alluded to that.
Thank you.
So, our point is that that could be moved back within the setback lines, cocked at a little bit of an angle, raise the elevation if need be to get the water draining down the driveway, pull in and back out. She's going to pull in and back out the way it is now. So there is no turnaround issue.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard? Are there any communications that we don't have in the record at this point?
There was one letter that was read by the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Cross, and that was it.
Would the objectors care to summarize, or are you satisfied with with what you've said so far? Okay. Would the petitioner care to summarize, or are you all set?
Mr. Chairman will summarize that again. There were based on topography, which is basically the three elements that are identified in 40A, basically shape, topography, and soils. I submit to the board that we pray the board and submit to the board that in fact the items that we've presented in terms of the soils, shape, and topography does in fact meet the relevant findings that are required under 40A, and whereas the petitioner is also willing to put the above writing. Now, if put the above writing to, as the express concern was about aesthetic and looking, yes, that can be conditioned, and the board, it will be in the board's purview and right to make that a stipulation, and that in fact it can be planted prior to the actual construction stand to make sure that that is actually planted. And backing into a street, albeit it's a little longer, when you're backing into a street, the street without an actual obstruction, it's a lot easier to make that turn when you don't have an obstruction. When you're backing up to a fence, now that's an obstruction that you have to contend with if there's snow on the ground. So the turning movement actually is an issue, and that plays to the fact that the shape of the land does not lend itself, albeit physically you can say, yeah, I can lay this out, but based on that turning movement, and fact now that you have a physical obstruction to that turning movement, and whereas the applicant is willing to put that arborvitae evergreen, I think we'll pray the board to find that that merits granting the variance.
Anyone else? Pardon?
I guess I have a comment. Given the fact that I think that the petitioner is right in that it probably does meet the law as far as what you have to do to build it. It doesn't meet the ordinance as far as being that close to the property line. Can you move it over a little bit without doing harm to the whole concept of the project? You know, there might be a little bit of a turning, turning radius. I don't think it can go over to the middle of the lot without getting into great expense and other, but could you?
Yeah, I was going to mention something similar with the existing patio. If we take some of that patio, it seems to me that it could be moved over a little bit and assist with the turning into the garage there.
Could you go over to to like 10 feet, and would that be more
Well,
acceptable?
I can do a 10 feet, then the only thing it will do is the wall and the end there, I will just make it a little tighter. Instead of a 9-foot garage, it will be tight. I can go to an 8-foot and slide it over a little bit. But after that, I will need to then actually make a 90-degree type of turn, which will present a problem. So I can achieve 10 feet.
I don't see the argument for the turnaround that it has to be in place if you go over one more foot. That doesn't make sense to me, quite frankly, but, I mean, you've got to, I'm hoping for some kind of a compromise here, but nobody seems to be jumping up too much.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, this strikes me as a situation where you're 6.5 feet off the property line now. You know, you need another 10 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, gives you 16 instead of what's required. I just don't see such a catastrophic result if you don't get that tucked all the way within 6 feet of the fence. You know?
So if you were to use part of the existing patio as the driveway, I would think that that would lessen the amount of turn into the garage, and it would give the person pulling into the garage and then again backing out of the garage a little bit more space to maneuver that vehicle.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
And then, but it will require cocking it, and if I do that, then I'll be asking you for a rear setback variance. For me to really, if I want to do what we call a side load, I really need to be 35 feet. But if I can rotate it just a little bit, I think I can be at that 10 feet, and then if she has to kind of wiggle
Rotate which way?
like that.
Kick the back over to the middle of the lot.
Take the back over to the middle a little bit. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
But I'll still need the variance. So,
Well, you're gonna need a variance.
yeah, because the side is 20. I will not be able to achieve 20.
Well, you're gonna come pretty close, though.
Yeah.
You're gonna come within a couple of feet, even if you cock it that way, right?
Now, will the board be adverse to then a rear setback variance?
I'm
Because
saying,
then I will
the
be
rear,
able-
you're not gonna take that much of the rear if you cock that building a bit.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the rear, you
if
have-
you lose,
I will need to be in the rear.
pardon me?
I will need to be in the rear, into the rear setback zone in order to achieve.
Well, I understand that, but I don't see, I mean, just rough idea, I don't see that. I don't see you needing more than about 2 feet there, quite
Right.
frankly. So, you know, taking that corner, that bottom right corner being 2 feet closer to the rear property line
Mhm.
doesn't
Okay.
get me all excited. Okay, but I think that could make a good difference, though, to make these people more happy and at ease back there. What do you think, Fran?
I think if that's workable, I think it's a good idea.
So what are we talking, 2-foot relief from the rear and the
Well,
side?
I think we're talking a new plan.
Okay.
You think, Fran?
I don't see how it would come close to the back. If you keep the front corner to the same
I know.
and you just turn it, I don't see how, if it rotates and it's going right there and it
Right.
rotates over, it should pull away further from the back. I don't see where the back line relief would, you know,
He's talking about here. Huh?
I am too, but if this corner stays the same and you just
So
turn
if
it
this
this
stays the
way,
same,
this is coming
Yeah,
over
yeah.
equal, it's not coming back in, it's turning this
That's
way
true.
and going up that way a little bit, because it's
That's
going to
true.
pivot on that front corner.
yeah, if it's pivoting, if it's pivoting on here,
Yeah.
it's gonna wind up like that, yeah.
The whole back side is not going to get me close to the
Yeah,
back.
you're right.
And he's got 0.2 feet to play
Yeah.
with, not that you need it, but I don't think it encroaches on the back any more than,
You're right.
This back is a hill anyhow, so
Yeah.
even if we were to have to move into the hill a little bit, I really don't see, I mean, it's basically non-usable land anyhow because of the hill.
Right,
It's
yeah.
11 feet, I believe you said?
Correct.
Okay. So even if that were to happen,
I think you're right though, Fran.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna encroach in the back at all, but.
You turn it the way he's suggesting, you're not putting the back closer to the back.
So, we would like to request a continuation then, Mr. Chairman, so that we can actually, because we can't vote on something that is fluid. So we
I
can,
agree.
we can revise the plan to address some of the.
I agree totally. We've got to see what we're talking about, okay? All right, and,
So the board is amenable to that. I'd like to request a continuation.
We are, I guess would like a little feedback to know if a bit of a compromise will work and keep everybody.
Yeah, I think that we'd like to see the plan on what he proposes. I mean, I think there is, like you guys have talked, enough room to slide that over without encroaching on the back. But until he does a plan,
yeah, we have to see what we're talking about,
to
otherwise.
see how far away from the lot line we're getting. Yep.
Okay? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just a question through you, Mr. Chairman, to the objectors. In case that, I will hope that it doesn't become an issue now when we kind of turn it, and then all of a sudden someone's talking about lights that being directed that way there now too. You know. Yeah, so-
Stockade fence along that is not an issue at all.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I just want to, you both kind of keep in touch so somebody doesn't get too far down the road and they'll say,
Yeah.
oh geez, I didn't know that's
Yeah,
what we were
didn't know
doing.
that.
Because we
Right.
had that once before, and then somebody else came and said, oh, no, I didn't like it from the start.
Right.
And then, at that point, you're into it for another plan and another hearing.
Yeah.
So just kind of, because personally, I'm kind of in favor of getting the project moving forward within, within your thoughts. So we kind of like the idea.
Working together.
I'm kind of inclined to make it
Sure.
work, but we don't want to
Sure.
just walk over your thoughts.
So, at the board's suggestion and with the agreement of all parties, we're going to continue this hearing to what date, Maureen?
Well, we're open. What works for you guys? Do you want 30 days?
I would think, does that work for you?
Fine with me. About how long will it take for you to get your plan revised and prepared?
A week.
I can do it in 2 weeks.
2 weeks? What's the date?
That's Halloween.
It's Halloween? Perfect.
Good.
We can't have the room next week because of voting.
Not because of voting, yeah.
Right.
And then after that,
So then we're into November 7th.
November 7th.
I'm not available the 7th.
Okay.
Then the 14th?
14?
November 14th?
I'm not available on the 14th.
Sorry.
November 21?
Thanksgiving dinner together. 21st?
Well, if we can do the 14th, and I'll get in touch with them and show them what we're doing. If they said yes, that it works for them, then they can send a letter or call into Ms. McKenna, if that is.
No.
I would like for everyone to still be present that's here. Like we said, there's
For the
no
21st.
hardship, we just want different.
November 21, does that work?
Is he busy with one?
No, we need the cameras. I was gonna say we can go in the room next door, but we don't have the cameras. Next
You
week.
gotta have cameras?
Well, we started with them. so we
I'm
got-
going away next week. so.
You're going away next
Okay,
week?
that's out anyways. Okay.
I'm going
good
away
on
the
the
end of next
21st.
week.
Okay.
So we're back to what?
21st,
November
November.
21. All right, I would hereby, motion to continue the matter.
Yes.
Second.
Second.
Yes, to November 21. I would declare that this meeting of the zoning board of appeals has been continued to November 21, 7 PM. Same place, same time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.